Pump it up, pump it up.
Trae.
Come on, come on.
With Trae.
Pump it up, pump it up.
It's the day with Trae.
This is the day to gain inspiration, to make a positive change in the nation. We're inviting you to partake in conversation, to raise your vibration. It's the day that we will all celebrate all of our peaks that make this thing elevate. Watch the negative fade away, cause it's the day with Trae.
Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome to the Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday, and I get to welcome you to another magnificent Monday. Really excited for my guest in the building. We got Ahamefule, I almost had it, Ahamefule Oluo joining us, a writer, composer, director, phenomenal performing artist of a show called The Things Around Us that is playing this month at Intimon Theater. So I'm so excited that he's joining us. But y'all know it's the top of the show. This is where you join us. You're helping us grow every time you share this show with folks who you feel could benefit from our daily dose of dopeness we work to give you here on The Day with Trae. And if you can't watch our TV show, y'all know we got you covered. You can listen to us anywhere you find your favorite podcast as well. Just search Converge Media Network and The Day with Trae. Y'all will find us there. But before I get into it with Ahamefule, I gotta say that I'm so grateful to all of y'all who showed up when the invitation came out for the filming of the Day with Trae new intro. Now, this was back in a while ago, and it was almost like holiday season, and some people were like, oh, I'm gonna be out of town. But for all of y'all who showed up, you can see the end result of you saying yes to that day meant that we really got a dope reflection of what it looks like to be in community with one another. And I, of course, am humbled and honored and grateful for the official Emmy nomination for the Day with Trae intro, y'all. Y'all know we're celebrating over here in the Black Media Matter Studios for sure. That was some amazing news this weekend, and I have been hearing from so many of y'all reaching out on Instagram. Those of you who have my number, hit me up through text. You know, just let me know that y'all are also on this journey with us. And that's really what the Day with Trae is about. We can't do this without y'all coming here to share your stories, sharing resources, uplifting your bodies of work. That's what we're here for. So huge shout out to all of you who made sure that that day went down in history. And this Emmy nod is really one of those things for me that says, wow, y'all, we are being recognized in a way that is so special. But the best way to be recognized is from all of y'all out there who, when you saw this intro, you knew it was a reflection of an amazing time back to our 90s Black sitcom era, where we had amazing shows that really represented different parts of our Black culture. So I am so elated that what I'm doing here and that intro in particular gets to continue those kinds of legacies. But it's all because y'all showed up. Huge shout out to Eric Calligraphy, my director here on The Day with Trae, who was my thought partner, him and Omari, both of them. Because I'm going to tell you, it was like we had one idea and another, and we just build off of that. And that's the beauty of having the right team around you. So huge shout out to Eric Calligraphy and Omari Salisbury for being thought partners with me on this. And of course, I would be remiss to not thank Francisco Dead Eyes Lopez for being the director and editor of this. And of course, to our homie Vita, Vitamin D, right out there being the producer of this track, rapping on this track, and of course, Coach Giggs for the phenomenal choreography. So all of these folks and so many more, all of you who showed up, poured in to make this something special, and I'm so grateful for this Emmy nomination. Y'all know I had to start the week off with that. Well, after this short break, y'all, up next, we got Ahamefule. I'm gonna say it right. I'm gonna get it right. Ahamefule Oluo joining right after this short break to tell us all about his journey in the world of art and why y'all need to come and see this show, The Things Around Us at Intimon Theater. Y'all, I'm just so excited. I'm gonna be right back after this break. Y'all don't definitely want to miss this. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
In Seattle, It's more than just coffee. It's community. At the station, we brew more than just your favorite cup. We brew connection. From Beacon Hill to Columbia City, we're a space for artists, activists, and everyone in between. A place to gather, create, and simply be. Whether you need a quiet place to work, a lively spot to meet friends, or just a moment to unwind, find your place at the station. More than coffee, it's home. Visit us in Beacon Hill or Columbia City. The station, where community happens.
Getting the scholarship really changed the conversation. It went from, no, I can do school in my free time and make it work, to I could only focus on school and I could be the best I can be every single day. I can soak up everything. I can read before class and make sure I'm not just learning enough to pass a test. Like, I could really pour all my time into school. That's what having a Seattle College Foundation Scholarship did for me.
Ready to be intentional with your spending? Whether you're gifting it or using it for yourself, the Buy Black card allows you to shop at many different Black-owned businesses across the greater Seattle area, like Love a Latte, Dramer Ice Cream, Motis Beauty Supply, Pizza by Ruffin, The Spa House by Queen Care, and so many more. You can see the full list of participating businesses when you sign up for your Buy Black card at intentionalist.com. And thanks to our friends at BECU, you'll save 20% when you load your card. Spend like it matters with the Buy Black card.
Welcome back, y'all, to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. Joining me right now, we have Ahamefule Oluo. What's up?
Hey, so honored to be here.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you were able to make it here. You know, it's special because you're doing a whirlwind of things. And I gotta ask how you started, because for you to be the writer, director, composer, like, you've created something so special, and I can't wait to see it later this month. Tell us about your beginnings.
Yeah, I mean, I think my first foray into arts was as a trumpet player. I started out in the amazing, public programs that we have here in Seattle, as a trumpet player focusing on jazz. And that was kind of the beginning of my career. And then at some point in time, I just kind of, out of a lifelong curiosity, I delved into stand-up comedy, which was 20 years ago now that I started that. And I did those separately for a really long time, just working as a comic, working as a musician. And around 2014, I was working on a project where I realized everything that I was doing was related to one another. And so that was the first time I kind of started making these shows that were both comedy and music, and everything kind of put together in one.
Oh, wow. I mean, so this is really an experience you're taking the audience on, right?
I'm trying, yeah.
So somehow the music must also contribute to the comedy. Can you tell us about that synergy and that balance?
Yeah, absolutely. So, being the person who is both composing the music and writing the narrative, it really gives me an opportunity to kind of, shape the whole flow of everything. Take a look at how the jokes interact with the music. Kind of, you can use misdirection. There's a lot of things that you can do when you really have a firm understanding of all the aspects of the work that you're creating. So, it's been a really long journey to, work and grow in different fields at the same time. But now that I'm at this stage in my career, I think it's really wonderful to be able to play such an active role in so many parts of my own work.
Yeah, this is something special. And I've heard already, like, oh man, this is kind of one of those one-of-a-kind style shows. And so getting people to understand what you're doing, do you ever feel like, is this hitting? Is this missing? Do people get it?
Yeah, with this particular show, the response has been wonderful. We've premiered back in September in Portland, and then we went to New York, and we've been to Oklahoma City, and we were down in the Bay Area. And so, it's the response has been wonderful, but it is a very different show to try to explain to people, especially, compared to my previous show, which had this, large orchestra, and it was very autobiographical stories about big events in my life. And that's a very easy thing to explain, where this show is, I'm the only person on stage. I'm creating all the music live through looping and electronics, but everything is being created live. There's nothing recorded, ahead of time. And the stories that I'm telling aren't about myself. They're not about my life. They're about situations that I found myself in as an observer, observing things in other people's lives. And so I was really interested in this idea of making a show that's detached from my own story in a way, and detached from that kind of like personal nature, which I think, is really wonderful. But I think that when you are telling stories about other people, you can kind of step outside of yourself, and you can tell kind of a story from a different perspective in a different way that you're not used to hearing. And so I was really drawn to that idea, but it does make it a little bit harder to explain to people what I'm doing.
Wow. Well, I have to say, it seems like you're unlocking a new path. And when we think about historically, there are some great comedians who hit stages who were like, yo, the way they do it is different. Do you look back at some of those influences and draw from any particular folks that you felt really resonated with you as you entered into the world of comedy?
Yeah, I mean, one early inspiration, in terms of someone who was pursuing both music and comedy in a very serious way, and doing very original things in both, was Reggie Watts here from Seattle. And I'm from Seattle. I had the great pleasure of starting out in comedy while he was still on the scene, and getting to see him lots of times both perform musically and comedically. And he was one of the first people that I saw that was like, okay, you can do both these things, and you can do them both in a really real and innovative way. So he's someone, but stand-up. I love so many stand-up comics. Growing up for me, I was just such a huge fan of Dwayne Kennedy, who's a great comic. Mitch Hedberg is a great comic. I was a big Maria Bamford fan. So many different kind of maybe lesser known comics, like slightly stranger comics. I was always drawn to that. And then musically, I'm a huge Charles Mingus fan and a Duke Ellington fan. So finding kind of this road that goes through all of those very different things has been a very unique challenge for me.
So when you think about how, legacy is something you're contributing to, I was just talking about it earlier in the show, and now your approach to blending music and comedy together, and how it's kind of contributing to opening maybe up that pathway for others to see you and be like, wow, he's the first person I saw do this.
Yeah.
How does that resonate with you?
Well, I mean, I think, in the abstract, it's a really beautiful idea, and it's something that, I would love to be able to do things for other people that, artists before did for me. But in a certain way, as an artist, I think that all I can really do is just try and do the best job that I can do, and try and make the best work that I can do. And I think, for me, it's kind of a goal to stay on that path, and to keep that mentality. And as I'm creating work, not so much think about my legacy or things like that, but just think about making the best thing that I can.
Yeah.
And then hopefully that stuff comes along with it.
Well, I agree with you. I think, when we are in the moments of creation, we really have to focus on what we're creating.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'll get distracted, right? And so I love that you have that center of focus that keeps you really aligned with the purpose of each show, right?
Yeah.
When you think about, the things around us, this is a great way to kind of blend other stories with music and comedy. What do you want the audience to kind of walk away with?
Well, I want the audience to feel something. I mean, that's the main thing, that they have a real emotional reaction, that they have an experience that's not forced on them or forced, for them. They don't feel like they have to force anything, and they don't feel like there's being anything forced upon them. And they have an experience that changes them in some way. I don't want to necessarily determine the way that happens. I just want, I've been working my entire life to basically just be as clear and artistic communicator as I can, to take the feelings that I want to convey and be able to convey them in the most, I guess, accurate and effective way possible. So, that's really, I want them to feel. And I think that that's why we do what we do, is because sometimes it can be hard to feel, especially when we look at the news, or, if you feel everything going on, it can be too much. But this is, art can be these moments where you feel really hard, and you learn and you grow.
Wow, this is beautiful, and I'm so excited to see you later this month. Of course, if folks are trying to tap in, follow your journey, maybe your socials, get tickets to the show, look right here. Let them know how they stay tapped in with you.
Yeah,
This one right here.
This one right here.
Mhm.
Okay, so my website's nowimfine.com. Now I'm Fine was my first stage show, and that's a great way to keep up on dates and kind of if you want to find out more information. You can follow me on Instagram at Ahamefule. That's at AHAMEFULE. And those are kind of the only two places I really update. But
There we go. I am so grateful that you were
Yes.
able to be here
Yeah,
and
such a
share
pleasure.
your brilliance with us today. Thank you
you.
so much for joining me.
Thank you,
Anytime
Linda.
you got a show,
Yeah.
the Day with Trae is here for you, okay?
I appreciate it.
Wow, y'all. What a great understanding that I just gained. I hope y'all did too. Y'all know I'm going to wrap all of this understanding up right after this short break. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Let's start the show. Hello, welcome to Elite Insights with Carlos Imani. We're looking to offer an in-depth look at event production industry through the lens of client experiences and joint successes. The podcast will emphasize guest interviews, focusing on client discussing their fields and reflecting on their collaboration with Elite Collective. Again, you're with Elite Insights. Carlos Imani here. I'll see you guys in a few.
Hey, what up, everybody? Truth Talks is one of the hottest shows streaming, and we're expanding. You can catch all the tea live and unedited Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, and again at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. Dive into the truths you need to hear from pop culture to politics and some of the biggest celebrity exclusives.
I wrote the song in the car.
Get out the way. That was my theme song.
Set your reminder to catch us live on Fox Soul or binge watch on YouTube/Fox Soul.
Africa Town Plaza is our latest affordable housing development project. It's 126 units of affordable housing over community commercial space.
It's the first time in my career, and I've been doing this for 10 years, that I was able to design for people who look like me.
Africa Town Plaza is a beacon of hope.
Africa Town Plaza is a love letter to the community.
Welcome back, everyone, to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. Huge shout out to my guest, Ahamefule Oluo, for joining me. And you can see that the things around us is a different type of show. You definitely want to get your tickets, because when we have this type of brilliance, hey, he's talking about touring all over the country, and now it's here for us to experience. And I'll tell you this, when you have somebody who's passionate about what they do, doing so much on stage, I almost guarantee you're going to walk away feeling something. And he said that's what he's wanting folks to do. So make sure you get your tickets today. And of course, let's support our local theaters, y'all. Intiman Theater is putting on some phenomenal shows. And I want to make sure that we are always uplifting spaces like Intiman, like Taproot Theater, as well as all of the big ones like Paramount and Fifth Avenue and ACT and the Rep. I mean, y'all know I love good shows, and our venues are doing some great works to bring us some unique experiences. So make sure you get yourself out there, bring a friend or family members. You know, let's be encouraged to support amazing shows like this, and also be inspired. If you got some creativity inside of you that needs to come out, please find a way to build your show up. Get with the local venue, see if they'll be willing to put it on. That's what we all thrive from, is you living in your brilliance and purpose. So make sure y'all are doing that, and stay inspired, y'all, because you too can be a part of the solution to make our amazing, unique area continue to have creativity blossoming on stages all around us. Thanks so much for watching today and starting your week off with me. Of course, y'all know I'll be back tomorrow. And until then, at 11 a.m., y'all, peace. Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.